Introduction. Volume 9 begins at Renoa Magic University, where Reddy is trying to rebuild his life after heartbreak. The academy looks bright and peaceful, but emotionally he is still uncertain and incomplete. In class, Reddy appears calm on the outside, yet he is still searching for answers about himself and his future. This school setting becomes the stage where old connections slowly return to him. Reddy studies magic seriously, but he is also quietly watching the people around him. Volume 9 is not only about spells, it is about recognizing what has been hidden in plain sight. The academy itself feels grand and full of possibility. It is a place where nobles, mages, and unusual students cross paths, creating the perfect setting for secrets to unfold. Fitz watches from a distance, hiding behind the identity everyone knows at school. Behind that calm mask is Sylphie, Ruddy's childhood friend, carrying fear, hope, and years of unspoken feelings. Sylphie's anxiety is important because she wants Ruddy to recognize her, but she is also afraid of what might happen if he does not. Her silence comes from both love and insecurity. Ruddy continues walking through the academy without realizing the truth. To him, Fitz is a reliable senior student, but the audience understands that something much deeper is waiting underneath. Ariel becomes part of the emotional strategy around Sylphie. She sees how much Sylphie cares about Ruddy and begins pushing the situation toward a confession, even if Sylphie is too shy to act alone. Ariel and Luke discuss the problem like a careful political plan. For them, helping Sylphie is also about loyalty, but the situation is delicate because Ruddy's heart is still wounded. Ariel's calm confidence contrasts with Sylphie's hesitation. She knows that if Sylphie keeps waiting forever, Ruddy may never understand what is right in front of him. The story then looks back to Sylphie's past. After the teleportation disaster, she was thrown far from home, frightened and alone, with her hair turned white from the shock of what she survived. In that lonely period, Sylphie's life changed completely. Her peaceful childhood disappeared, and she had to become someone stronger just to keep living. When danger struck Ariel, Sylphie used her magic to save her. This rescue becomes the foundation of their bond, and it explains why Ariel trusts her so deeply. Sylphie's magic is not shown as flashy power alone. It is the moment she discovers a purpose after losing everything, protecting someone else, when she herself had nowhere to return to. Saving Ariel gives Sylphie a new place in the world. She becomes Fitz, Ariel's guard, and slowly learns how to survive inside politics and danger. Ariel and Sylphie's relationship grows from that rescue. Ariel gives Sylphie protection and identity, while Sylphie gives Ariel loyalty and strength. Behind the Fitz persona, Sylphie becomes disciplined and dependable. Still, beneath the mask and uniform, the lonely girl who loved Reddy never disappears. Eventually, Ariel, Luke, and Sylphie leave the dangerous political world of Asura behind and move toward Renoa. Their enrollment is not just education, it is part survival, part strategy. The group arrives with baggage from the past and hopes for the future. For Sylphie, Renoa becomes the place where she unexpectedly finds Ruddy again. This first act closes with the academy standing bright in the distance. The stage is ready, Ruddy is healing, Sylphie is hiding, and the truth is waiting for the right moment. Ruddy and Fitz begin spending more time together at school. Their conversations are comfortable, but Ruddy still does not understand why this quiet senior feels so familiar. Fitz helps Ruddy with school life, becoming a steady presence beside him. The kindness feels natural to Ruddy, even though he cannot yet connect it to his childhood memories. Ruddy studies with Fitz and learns more about the strange research happening at the academy. These calm scenes slowly build trust between them. Fitz continues hiding behind a mask-like identity. The disguise protects Sylphie, but it also keeps her trapped, because the person she wants most to see her cannot truly see her yet. At night, Fitz watches the academy from above, alone with her thoughts. She wants to move forward, but every step toward Ruddy feels terrifying. The hidden identity grows heavier. Fitz can stand beside Ruddy during the day, but the longer the secret continues, the more painful it becomes. Ruddy is introduced to the mysterious masked girl Nanahoshi, also known as Silent Seven Star. Her presence instantly changes the story, because she is connected to Ruddy's original world. Inside Nanahoshi's research room, magic circles and strange tools fill the space. This is where Ruddy learns that teleportation, summoning, and his past life may be linked in ways he never imagined. Nanahoshi explains her research with cold seriousness. Unlike Ruddy, she does not want to live in this world. Her entire goal is to return to the world she came from. Ruddy listens carefully, shocked by how different Nanahoshi's perspective is from his own. She is proof that he is not the only person connected to another world. When Ruddy recognizes Nanahoshi's connection to the disaster from his past, panic takes over. Old trauma floods back, and he reacts with fear and anger before he can think clearly. The room feels chaotic as the past catches up with him. This moment is important because it shows that Ruddy's reincarnation does not erase the pain and confusion he still carries. After the shock, Ruddy is left shaken and vulnerable. For someone who has tried to rebuild himself, facing a living reminder of his old world is deeply destabilizing. Nanahoshi remains focused on the larger mystery. She offers information, but she also reminds Ruddy that her goals are different and that their connection is complicated. Ruddy's meeting with Nanahoshi expands the scale of the story. The school arc suddenly touches reincarnation, summoning, and the possibility of returning home. Fitz notices Ruddy's distress and becomes even more worried. Sylphie wants to support him, but because she is still hiding, she cannot comfort him as openly as she wants. The mask begins to feel like a wall between Sylphie and Ruddy. Every moment of concern makes it harder for her to stay silent. Ruddy begins to sense warmth from Fitz, but he still interprets it as friendship and kindness rather than reunion. His own emotional wounds keep him from seeing clearly. Elsewhere, Eris's shadow still hangs over Ruddy's heart. His past with her affects how he understands closeness, trust, and fear of being abandoned again. This middle act ends with unresolved tension. Ruddy has met Nanahoshi, Fitz is still hiding, and the story is now moving toward the moment when truth must finally come out. The emotional pressure builds under a darker sky. Ruddy continues his academy life, but the atmosphere feels heavier, as if the secret between him and Fitz cannot stay hidden much longer. Fitz reads alone, gathering courage. For Sylphie, the problem is not whether she loves Ruddy, the problem is whether she can reveal herself without being rejected. Ruddy and Fitz meet in the academy corridors, where every conversation carries hidden meaning. Ruddy sees a helpful friend, while Sylphie hopes for recognition. Ariel and the others continue nudging the situation forward. They understand that Sylphie needs a push, because her fear may otherwise keep the truth buried forever. The white glasses and disguise represent the boundary between Fitz and Sylphie. To reveal herself, she must risk losing the safe identity she has built. Rain begins to fall, changing the emotional tone of the story. The world grows quiet and intimate, perfect for the confession and revelation that are approaching. In the rainy forest, Sylphie walks alone with her fear. Nature, darkness, and rain make the scene feel like an emotional threshold. Sylphie stands soaked and uncertain, no longer protected by the controlled atmosphere of the academy. The rain strips away the safety of her disguise. Ruddy finds her and offers protection from the rain. This small act of care becomes the opening Sylphie needs to finally let her real feelings surface. Sylphie's emotions begin to break through. Her face shows years of loneliness, hope, and the fear that Ruddy might not remember her at all. Ruddy looks at her more carefully, sensing that this moment is different. He is close to understanding, but the truth still has to be spoken. Under the cloak, the scene becomes deeply personal. The rain creates a private world around them, separating them from the academy and everyone else. Sylphie finally starts lowering the emotional walls around her. She is not just Fitz anymore. She is the childhood friend who has been waiting to be seen. The revelation carries a magical, almost sacred feeling. Sylphie's identity is not exposed through spectacle, but through vulnerability and trust. When she speaks honestly, the silence between them changes. Ruddy begins to realize that the person beside him has been Sylphie all along. They face each other openly at last. The secret that shaped the entire volume is finally breaking, and both of them are forced to respond with their true feelings. Sylphie smiles through her tears because the truth is out. Even if the future is uncertain, the burden of hiding has finally been lifted. Ruddy is stunned, overwhelmed by recognition and emotion. The past he thought was lost has returned in front of him as a person who never stopped caring. Their embrace is the emotional climax of Volume 9. Ruddy and Sylphie reconnect not as distant memories, but as two people who have survived pain and found each other again. The rain sequence closes with Ruddy's tears and realization. He has not simply discovered Fitz's identity, he has regained someone precious from his childhood. After the reveal, Ruddy begins to understand what Sylphie means to him. Her presence offers comfort, healing, and a path forward from the emotional damage he has carried since Eris left. Sylphie's gentle smile shows that she is also healing. She no longer needs to stay hidden behind the Fitz identity to stand beside Ruddy. Their hands come together as they speak honestly. The relationship becomes more than nostalgia. It becomes a real choice in the present. During the night that follows, Sylphie supports Ruddy through one of his deepest personal struggles. The scene is intimate because it represents trust, recovery, and acceptance. They talk quietly afterward, no longer separated by masks or misunderstandings. For Ruddy, this is the beginning of believing he can love and be loved again. Sylphie's healing magic and emotional care help Ruddy recover from the wound left behind by rejection and insecurity. She does not fix him by force. She stays with him until he can move forward. Ruddy's tears show how much relief he feels. After so long believing himself unwanted, he finally experiences comfort without judgment. The embrace becomes a promise of safety. Sylphie gives Ruddy a place to rest emotionally, and Ruddy begins to respond with trust instead of fear. Their closeness deepens into a bond that both of them choose. Volume 9 frames this not as sudden romance, but as reunion, healing, and mutual devotion. Ruddy's expression changes because hope has returned. The story, that began with uncertainty, now moves toward commitment. The volume also reminds us of Eris, who is far away on her own path. While Ruddy heals at Renoa, Eris continues sharpening herself through brutal training. Eris's determination contrasts with Sylphie's gentleness. She still loves Ruddy in her own way, but her answer to that love is to become stronger. Back at Renoa, Ruddy and Sylphie's relationship becomes public to their close circle. The people around them begin to understand that something important has changed. Their friends and allies react with warmth, surprise, and encouragement. Ruddy's isolated life at school is becoming connected to a wider circle of support. This sense of community is important because Ruddy is no longer healing alone. Sylphie, Ariel, and the Academy all become part of his new foundation. Far away, Eris trains under harsh conditions, still chasing the strength she believes she needs. Her side story keeps her emotionally tied to Ruddy even while they remain separated. The clash of swords in the snow shows Eris's path clearly. She is not choosing comfort. She is choosing discipline, pain, and growth. Eris's fierce expression shows that her feelings have not faded. She is sharpening her fangs for a future meeting, even if Ruddy does not yet understand her heart. Standing alone in the snowy mountains, Eris becomes a symbol of unresolved love and future conflict. Volume 9 closes one relationship while keeping another thread alive. Conclusion. Volume 9 ends with Ruddy and Sylphie finally reunited, healed, and ready to move toward marriage, while the wider story keeps moving in the background. It is a volume about hidden identity, emotional recovery, and the courage to be seen.